Hello, I'm Reggie York. This is a presentation on preparing the title and the abstract for an evaluation research study in the human services. In this presentation, you will be given guidance on how to write the title and the abstract for an evaluation research paper. Evaluation research is research on the outcomes of human services. Let's talk a little bit about the title for a few minutes. First of all, let's talk about the purpose of the title. Is any one or ones of these a good statement of the purpose of the title? A, to impress the reader on the excellence of the prose the writer is capable of portraying. B, to write a statement that gets the reader's attention, such as, School social work, are we there yet? Think about that for a moment. I don't think either one of them is a good reason for writing the title of the paper. Neither of these are what you should have. Let's continue this discussion. Should any of these be included in the title of the paper? The fact that this is the report of an evaluative study in the human services, in other words, the title should reflect this fact in some way. Secondly, the target population that's included, that should be in the title, that's the question. The dependent variable being addressed, such as depression, anxiety, school grades, or whatever. And fourth, the intervention being evaluated. Should any of these be included in the title? Should you understand any of these things from the title? I would say yes, the answer is all of the above. They should all be there. The title is okay for it's a little bit long, but it should not be missing critical information. Is this complete as the title? An examination of the effectiveness of strengths-based services. Think about that. Does it do all those things we just talked about? I would say no. How about this one? An examination of the effectiveness of cognitive behavioral therapy in the treatment of depression. Well, it includes the intervention and the dependent variable, but it does not tell you the population. Number 3, an examination of the effectiveness of cognitive behavioral therapy in the treatment of depression for single mothers in poverty. Look at all 3 of those and see how 3 is better than 2 and 2 is better than 1, because number 3 provides you with all the critical information that you'd like to know when you see the title of an evaluation study. Let's talk a little bit now about the abstract. The purpose of the abstract is to provide a concise statement about the nature of the evaluation study being reported, sufficient to provide the reader with a basic understanding of the purpose, methods, and results of the study. I want to put emphasis on the word concise. As we talk a little bit more, you'll realize that there are lots of details about your paper that will be left out of your abstract. The abstract should be a concise statement, 250 words or less. I would say less than 250. This is sort of a standard that you might find if you Google the word abstract and saw suggestions being made. So it should be concise and just the basics. So what should be included? The purpose of the study being reported, the research methods employed, the basic results, and the study conclusions. Those things should all be a part of included in the abstract. Here are some examples of the purpose statement. First of all, to assess the effectiveness of the parent support program and the enhancement of knowledge about good parenting practices for parents of at-risk youth. Another example, to evaluate the effectiveness of cognitive behavioral therapy and the reduction of depression for victims of family violence. I think you will see that both of those provide you with the critical information you need. It shows you the intervention. It shows you the dependent variable being addressed. It shows you that it's an evaluation study, and it tells you the population being served. So look at those as possible statements of the abstract of the purpose of the study as reflected in the way it is written in the abstract. How about methods? What was measured and how? Here's an example. Knowledge of good parenting practice was measured by the Adult Adolescent Parenting Inventory, a tool designed to assess the knowledge and child-rearing attitudes for adolescents and adults. This scale was administered both before service and the end of service, and gain was computed. This is, as you can see, is a very concise statement. It didn't go into a lot of details about what's on the scale. It just told you this is the scale and fundamentally what that scale measures. How about results? First of all, what was found from the data analyzed, and in a brief example. Here's an example. The mean pretest score for the AAPI was 44.5, while the mean post-test score was 66.2, indicating an improvement in knowledge and attitudes. This difference was found to be statistically significant, p less than 0.05. So that's really basically all you probably need to say in your abstract about your results. What about the conclusions? What did the results tell us about the purpose of the study? What was the intervention? Was the intervention found to be effective, for example? What are the implications of this finding? If it's found to be effective, perhaps it should be used more frequently. If it's not found to be effective, maybe we should rethink the use of that. Those are some of the kinds of things that might be in your implication statement in the abstract. So here's some things not to put in the abstract. Details about the nature of the target behavior, its causes and consequences. You can say something briefly, but not a lot of details. The details go in your paper, not in your abstract. Details about the measurement tool and its reliability and validity. That reliability and validity are not issues that normally are addressed in the abstract. They are addressed in paper, but not the abstract. Also, details about the intervention. You can briefly state what the intervention is about, what it's based on, but in very simple terms, in a sentence or two, possibly three, but not paragraphs of information on the intervention. That goes in your paper, but not in your abstract. You normally do not put references into the literature in your abstract. That goes in the paper, of course, but not the abstract. You can make statements in the abstract about what the literature revealed without necessarily providing the resources from the literature to back up what you're saying. You will do that when you say these things in your paper, but not normally in your abstract. The next thing not to put in your abstract is too many words. Ask you the question, does this belong in the abstract? I want you to hit the pause button there, read this statement, and then come back to me. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you read that. Then I'm going to pause it, I'm going to read it, I'm going to click and you will see another example. Pause that one also. So I'm going to click for the other one. Here is option 2. They're both related to the same thing. So pause here and determine whether option 2 or option 1 is the best way to portray this particular information. Going back to option 1, you can see for one thing, there are more words. More words usually does not mean a good thing in an abstract, right? Here's the second one. I would say the second one is the better way. It's more concise, tells you the critical things you need to know without additional information. If you go back to option 1, you see that there are there's information here that does belong in the paper, but again, not in the abstract. Okay, how about this? Pause, if you will, and then come back to me. Okay, I would say this is too much of what belongs in the literature review in the paper, but not in the abstract. As you can see, there are several references to the literature there, several footnote references type stuff. That's not normal for the abstract. How about this? You will hit the pause button and look over it. I think this is fine for the abstract. There's a lot of information here. Excuse me. There's a lot of information here, but it's concise and tells you a lot in relatively few words. So I would say this kind of statement would be a good statement in an abstract. Okay, that's the end of my presentation. I hope this will be helpful to you.